Welcome back to R&R on Sports. And of course, you're a little late.
I was a little late,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it was
yeah.
a pregnant
Pitched,
pause.
pitched very,
It was
very
a
high.
pregnant pause.
You've been rather strange lately,
man,
man.
it was a pregnant pause. It was
You called
added
yourself
to,
a Luddite. No, not
now
Luddite.
see
That's
there
what
you
you call me.
see
No.
heteromorphic.
Yeah,
Heteromorphic.
yeah.
So that means I'm just
Morphodite.
talking. Now I'm just talking.
Morphoditic.
Now,
And then you called yourself animalistic at the beginning of the show.
Well, that's because
So
that's
it's
what the
something
ladies
bad
say. That's
going
what the
on with
ladies
you.
say,
It's
bro.
going
That's
bad,
what the
something bad
ladies
going on.
say.
But listen,
Listen.
we are happy to have with us an American sports writer, journalist, sports analyst, columnist, editor, podcast host, senior writer, and all of that stuff right here with us on R&R on Sports. We are talking about
the thing easy to say is a basketball NBA insider.
okay,
Just say that.
yeah,
Come on, say it after me.
basketball,
Say basketball.
insider. NBA. Okay, NBA. Do you
basketball
remember what you
insider.
said yourself?
Basketball, NBA basketball.
I'm just gonna
insider.
say, welcome, brother Brandon Scoop B Robinson. Welcome to R&R on Sports, man.
Gentlemen, what's going on?
Everything's okay. I apologize for that crazy round the way introduction, but you know what I'm dealing with
I
here.
didn't know if you were talking about solid liquid gases, amorphous,
Oh, what?
amphibians. Man, I wasn't the best science student, so you lost me.
No, man, we're glad to have you. Happy to have you.
We gonna just skip right on to the real stuff, man. Dude,
No.
You ain't gonna let me do it?
No. We're not gonna start there. Let's start. Give the man respect. Let's start, man, because we're not gonna assume
See,
that
man,
our
I'm
audience
excited. I'm
knows
excited.
every. Well, calm yourself. We're not gonna be. We're not gonna take for granted that our audience knows who you are. So give us some back. That's what we always do, man. Give our audience some background and context about who Scoop B really is.
Well, I'm not new, but many people are starting to pay attention to the things that I do say.
Mm-hmm.
I am Brandon Scoopy Robinson. My mother named me Brandon Robinson, and I'm a senior writer at Heavy.com, and I host the Scoop B Radio podcast, which garnered 2.1 million streams last year.
Wow.
Has had anybody from Shaq, Charles Barkley, the voice of Siri, Mark Cuban, DJ Khaled, and more on the podcast. And yeah, man, I break stories. I have insight. I have relationships, but more than anything else, I love what I do. I love the game
So
of
wait a minute.
basketball.
Let me kind of give America an understanding of who this brother was. So before LeBron announced that he was going back to Cleveland from Miami,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's wondering where he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
We talked to Brandon. Scoop said, "Listen, my sources say he going back to Cleveland." And this was like 2-3 weeks before he made the announcement.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, come on, man. Nah, ain't no way he's going back to Cleveland. After my man talked about him so disrespectfully, there's no way in the world that he's going back to Cleveland.
And what happened?
This brother right here,
He called
Brandon, Scoop B. Robinson. Larry, I hear what you're saying. LeBron going back to Cleveland. Go ahead, brother.
I told you he was going back to he was going to LA in 2018. I told you about Space Jam. I told you about Kyrie going to the Brooklyn Nets. I told you about a lot of different things. I've been wrong too. I told everybody that KD was going to LA, and that kind of changed and shifted some things. But I also told you Anthony Davis was joining the Los Angeles Lakers. Last I checked, he's a Laker. So I hear things.
So listen, we got a true NBA insider on our own sports, and I'll just ask you, Brandon, what are we looking at, man? How is the NBA? Go ahead. Well, how'd it go?
Okay, so we decided that the theme of this show is going to be, and the question that we are asking you is, how does the NBA handle the NBA? Let me translate that. How does the National Basketball Association handle the national black anger?
Wow, that's
or anxiety.
I mean, I think it comes down to a conversation. I remember, and I think it's deeper than just X's and O's in basketball. Larry, I saw that you were enjoying a beverage, and right before, today was a day off for me. And a friend of mine works at a TGI Fridays. He said, "Come on in, lunch is on me." And I got your text message, and it's number one, it's cool to sit and talk with you, but it's funny that you bring that up because while I'm sitting eating my late lunch, my phone is going off. I'm like, what is going on?
Right.
And then I start making phone calls, and I think the reason why I'm bringing it up that way is I think it goes to an age-old thing that I've often heard people say. I was one of 4 black kids in my graduating high school class, and I went to prep school, and I used to tell people in my class, "What you say?"
Where?
Don Bosco Prep High School.
Where is that?
It is in northern New Jersey.
Okay.
Man, this cat been at it since he was like 12 years old, been an NBA reporter.
And what I'll say is, I used to say this to some of my classmates, the way to address racism or to combat it is a conversation. Because whenever you sit around with people who look different than you, you already have preconceived notions. And so I think that, number one, people thought that resuming the NBA play and going into the bubble was going to serve as a way to bring some sort of awareness. You saw people wearing jerseys. You saw people, during Zoom calls saying, the death of Breonna Taylor, I will not rest until the cops who killed Breonna Taylor is arrested. And then you have Mr. Blake in the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area, shot 7 times by cops. In answer to your question, I think a conversation has to take place. It's more than Kyle Korver and JJ Redick wearing Black Lives Matters on the back of their jerseys. I don't have a problem with either one of them. I think they're both fine human beings. But I think doing it for a smile or for an effect or for a post on social media, I think there's more to it than that. And I think that the players realize their worth. Because if the players decide that they don't want to play anymore, realistically, the Players Association and the owners can't come to an agreement. The owners could rip up the collective bargaining agreement. And I think one of the things that was smart was they played those 8 exhibition games. Because if the NBA did not resume play, they would have lost $2 billion. So,
really?
Yeah, that was the figure that I got.
A little bit. Unpack that a little bit, Brandon.
Well, what happens is at the beginning of the year, the teams and the Players Association and, they've agreed on half the money goes to whatever it goes to. You don't get the rest of the money until I believe it's 70 games that's played. So once they got to that point where those 8 games were played, they fulfilled the money, those seeding games that if they went straight to the playoffs or straight to the finals, it wouldn't have worked. So the fact that they played those 8 games, even with the Sacramentos, the Phoenix Suns, the Washington Wizards, they fulfilled that obligation.
So in essence, they needed to do those 8 games.
They had to.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how does that affect the television money?
I'm not an economist, but the way that it was shared to me from somebody from the league was basically, you do all this these television networks do these contracts, and basically they spend a ton of money for the rights to these games. So like you have your regional networks, like locally for me, Yes Network, the Nets play on that, MSG Network, the Knicks play on that. But then at the same time, you look at Fox Sports, Orlando, where the Magic play and all these other things, you have those games that the teams, play on, but then you have the national games on ESPN, ABC, TNT.
You know what you should have said to him, Scoop B, is when he asked you to break that down, you should have said 2, comma, and then 9 zeros.
I like him.
That's what you should have told me. That's what you should have told me.
So that was 2 billion reasons.
That breaks it down.
They had 2 billion reasons for that decision.
2, a comma, and 9 zeros. But I want to get back, and we got to cut to a break shortly. But I want to get back to what you said about a conversation. When we come back, I want you to answer these 2 things. One, a conversation, first of all, understanding that hatred dies very, very hard. So what kind of conversations?
What's the damn 2 questions, man?
Okay, here are the 2 questions. I'm getting there.
Damn.
I'm getting there. If
you taking
quiet.
a long way around the corner. Come on, man.
Well, I do not like you. Don't like you. I never did, really. I don't know why I fool with you every week. But anyway, so one part of it is will a conversation, the question is, will a conversation address just pure hate? Second question is a conversation between whom? And we don't answer yet. We will be back with more.
See, that's the problem. That's the problem.
After this,
the damn question sounded like it was a 6-part question instead of a 2-part question, but we still got it. Listen, this is R&R on Sports, and I'm here with Nostradamus of asking questions.
You are retarded. We'll be back after this.
Hey, Black Nerd Power fans, it's Marcus Seabury, and we've got more great shows coming your way, so stay tuned.
Because I'm also just really excited about how this has opened up to a wider community of gamers.
Throughout the rest of the game, you see how the spot has kind of grown. And I just want to let you guys know that we've got a bunch of brand new great episodes coming up.
So when they went out of town, I knew that shit was over. And it wasn't even his brother. It was when they wasn't lined up about the...
That is the new Ford Bronco.
Hey, that shit's nice.
If you need some great podcasts to listen to, check out the Kudzukian app. You won't be disappointed. More shows coming your way, so please hit the notification button below so when our episodes drop, you'll be the first to know.
Steroids.
Back for more R&R on Sports. Got the pleasure and privilege of talking to Brandon Scoop B. Robinson.
Man, your lips got in the way on that one a little bit.
Not like yours.
You was trying to say it. You was getting it out, though.
I got it out.
I was wondering about
got it.
you.
I wasn't
going to throw your life preserver.
Scoop B.
I was going to throw your life preserver to help you.
Thank you. As my daddy used to say, help the bear. You see me in a bear fight, help the bear. I don't need it.
Because you ran?
Yeah, because I'm gone. So look, so we're talking about basically how the NBA, National Basketball Association, can handle national black anger or angst or anxiety or whatever the A is that applies to you if you happen to be black, and that word. So
all of that.
So you said conversations. No, I get it. In an environment like.
He didn't say conversate.
Yeah, sations. I said sations.
Yeah,
no, it's not a
converse.
It's not a verb. It's not a verb. You from Louisville. It is a verb. Yeah, we're going to conversate. We're going to conversate
about some things.
So anyway, look, man. Yeah, I mean, within the realm of the environment like your school that you mentioned, yeah, I get it. But we are talking about a national platform. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the NBA.
Can we let Brandon talk it? Oh, man. Damn. I mean, you take it up with the question. Hey, Brandon, listen. The NBA, how they going to deal with the NBA? The National Black Anger. The NBA, the National Basketball Association, dealing with National Black Anger. Go.
The conversation that they're going to have this afternoon or this evening in Orlando is going to be a players-only discussion about what they actually want to do. And I think that's separate from what the owners want. Because
what do you think that's going to be?
Where or
What's
when?
Your insight? What do you think what do you think it is they want to do?
I think it's a carryover from the conversation that a lot of players, both in the NBA and the WNBA, had on Zoom call months ago when Kyrie Irving and Chris Paul.
Kyrie right? Was Kyrie right?
Yeah. He was right the whole time.
Should they? I mean, I heard George Hill basically say we shouldn't be here any damn way.
Well, here's the thing. That's a 2-part answer. It's not just a simple yes or no, and I'll tell you why. When you look at the perspective of the players not getting sick and people being there, I think the NBA did a heck of a job in making sure that. So that's why I can't just say yes or no. Kyrie was right. Yes. Were the players safe? Yes. Here's where it gets interesting and dicey. The argument of players can do both right now is kind of because the distraction that was created is taken away from the topic at hand. If you turn on the local news, we're not looking at protests anymore. Does that mean protests aren't still existing?
Right.
So you protest to bring awareness. But if basketball is being played and we're paying attention to whether the Lakers were going to close out with the Blazers tonight or whether Luka Doncic was going to get revenge in the series against the Clippers, where does that fit with Breonna Taylor? Where does that fit with Jacob Blake? Where does that fit with George Floyd and some of the other things? So I feel like awareness is cool. Wearing names on the backs of the jerseys are cool, and everybody has a different perspective. I talked to Mark Cuban about it last month, and one of the things he said was he thinks that it's good, it's for good cause, it's good for good conversation, and hopefully things will change. But and irrespective to what Mark said, okay, so how does it change?
Right.
Are we saying it just because it's a buzzword, just like inclusion is a buzzword, diversity is a buzzword? Because if you don't change it, it's going to be business as usual.
Mm-hmm.
So I think these are the type of conversations they're going to have, and I think that the players are using their power in a way that they've always had. They're making the money for the owners.
Right, exactly.
Well, yeah, and of course, I think that it's even further indication that they are subject to the here and now, what's happening here and now. For example, they're in a bubble. If somebody tests positive for COVID, and they haven't to this point, but if somebody did, then their reality changes immediately. The thing that happened in Kenosha, has caused their reality again to change immediately. So they are very much subject to the here and now in terms of that. George Floyd was
Wisconsin
a couple of months
some
ago.
Problems. What was the basketball?
That part
player?
of the country has problems.
What was
Wisconsin,
the basketball player? What was the
Minnesota?
young man? Producer. What was the young man played for the Milwaukee Bucks that the Milwaukee cops had on the ground at Walgreens and everything? So we'll get that information from our producer.
But the Kenosha cops in 2004 or 5, I believe, executed a white boy in front of his kids, shot him in the head.
Wow.
The person you're talking about is Sterling Brown, by the way.
Yeah,
Sterling Brown.
Yeah,
right.
Sterling Brown.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So these folks have had
Hold on,
problems
man.
for a long time.
Hey, man, our producer better get on this game a little bit because, shoot, you taking long, man. Scoop done scooped you. So, late breaking. What we got is the Milwaukee Brewers have decided that they will not play.
Good for
They
them.
will not play.
Good.
So now this is spread into Major League Baseball. Scoop, what are we looking at, man? And once again, this is R&R on Sports, and we deal with these topics. We address these topics, and we have the foremost thought leaders in the areas of sports, like Brandon Scoop B. Robinson. So, Brandon, what are we dealing with, man? You got Milwaukee Brewers have said they were not going to play. You got NBA players saying they're not going to play. What are we dealing with? And then we still have the verdict of Breonna Taylor that's still hanging out there.
It's a lot. It's a lot to digest. And I think the fact that the Bucks set the tone in their respective cities
Yes.
is great. But it doesn't stop at just boycotting games. It's conversation. That's the word of the day. Conversation.
Now we got to move beyond. I'm sorry, brother. We got to move beyond conversation.
But
man.
But here's the thing.
We got to move beyond conversation, man. Seriously. We've been conversing, but the fact of the matter is we still dying.
Well, let the brother explain. Go
Well,
ahead.
let
Go
him
ahead,
explain,
Scoop,
because should you explain that to me? I'm saying, man, we dying. Ain't nobody conversing. They shooting.
I made you look. Shout out to the brother Nas. I think at the end of the day, I think the conversation, like you said, it has to be more. But I think the NBA had its chance before they decided to go back into the bubble, and it seems that they've gotten ground again.
Hold on, B, real quick. How important is Mark Tatum right now? Second in charge of the NBA, brother, man. Kappa man.
Is he a Kappa?
Yeah, he's a Kappa.
I didn't know that.
How important is Mark Tatum right now to Adam Silver as it relates to what's going on in the NBA?
I'm not sure.
Wow. Whoa.
I'm not sure.
Whoa.
Because
the guy
I
that
think
was at the front of the forefront of the lottery. He was the face of the lottery.
he was, but I'm not sure, and it's not a knock on him. I would imagine as a black male, he has perspective that he can give to Adam Silver. But I also think Adam Silver is well versed on black males because he's around them every day.
Yeah.
And so I think to single out just Mark Tatum when there are other black males and females in his ear.
The reason I brought up Mark Tatum, and he's my frat brother, so I absolutely love Mark Tatum, and he's been on R&R, and he's a friend of R&R. But reason I brought up Mark Tatum was because he is the deputy commissioner for the National Basketball Association. He's the number 2 in charge. He's the highest ranking African American sports executive in the whole world. So he's got a important role in these conversations. So I just wondered, from a standpoint, we give a lot of credit to Adam Silver, but should we really be giving some credit to Mark Tatum, because he literally is the man next to the man giving the direction for the league?
Yeah, I think. I mean, when Adam Silver decides to retire, Mark Tatum will be the first commissioner of African American descent.
Brilliant brother, man. Brilliant brother, amazing wife.
I mean, it's interesting because here you have a company where you have employees that are highly dissatisfied, but they're not highly dissatisfied with company policies or whatever. They are highly dissatisfied with something that the company cannot fix, but the company's got to pay for it with a loss. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying if they were upset with the NBA, that would be another thing. That would be something that Mark Tatum and Adam Silver could deal with. But their dissatisfaction transcends the NBA. So my question is, as the NBA, what do you do? How do you address it when the issue is above and way outside of your purview or control?
I'm gonna let you close it out, but I would still say that Adam Silver and Mark Tatum have done an amazing job.
Yeah, for sure.
Leading through this
perilous. That's fine, Larry, but what does that do relative to the challenge and the issue that you have before you right now?
Yeah,
I
think you bring up a valid point about what you do. Okay, so the players decide they're gonna boycott, right?
Right.
To me, that's no different than if we're in school and we tell the principal we're not coming in, but we're gonna stand outside and just protest all day. At the end of the day, teachers inside are still going to be grading papers. You still have that A or that F or that C that you have. There's still protocol within place, but I think after today, after the games today were canceled, and potentially tomorrow the games are being canceled, I think that's when things start to really bubble up, and it's like, no pun intended, and you say to yourself, like, okay, what's next? Right now, I think it's just the shock value. Like the Bucks are up 3-1 over the Magic. That game today, Game 5, it's not a forfeiture. It's a postponement. So the game will still take place if they resume. If not, then the Raptors could become the NBA champions, or the Bucks could end up becoming the champions because they had the best record in the NBA. Collective bargaining agreement would kind of dictate in their favor that it would be the Bucks, though, because they had the best record in the league. But as it relates to what they could do, I don't think it has so much to do with position. That's like saying, okay, the Knicks got Worldwide West, they got Leon Rose, now they're going to win a championship because they got Tom Thibodeau. You still got to have players on the floor, and the players on the floor ain't playing.
Right.
And
So
I'm
I think
gonna jump out there and say they ain't gonna play. I'm gonna jump out there and you heard
think
it
it's
here on
done?
R&R
You think
on
it's done?
Sports. I don't think they're coming back. I don't
You think
that-
it's done?
No, I don't think they're coming back. With what just happened too? No, I don't think they're coming back.
Wow. Go ahead, Uncle H.
That's my little Nostradamus prediction.
All right.
Well, I did say that. I was interviewed by Footwear News.
Oh, did you? Did you
And
say
they
so?
asked
He
me.
said it earlier. You read his
I
article.
did not read it.
You read his damn article. You
How
plagiarized
did I?
it. You
I
plagiarized
plagiarized
it on
it.
Scoop
Yeah,
B.
yeah,
Scoop, man,
yeah.
you got admirers and we didn't even know
I'm like
about.
the first lady. I plagiarized the whole damn speech. Whole damn speech. Okay. Oh man, this is really deep.
Scoop got to come back, man.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
been
yeah, we
away
gotta-
too long, man. He's been away way too long.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna ask you back, and it probably be sooner than you think. All right?
Yes, sir.
So answer the call.
I will. You got my man.
No,
Let's make this
that's
happen.
my cousin, man. See, we spell our name correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Robinson. You got that. You got the whole
Yeah.
ERT thing going
Sons
on.
of birds.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. I get it. Robbins. All right. Scoop B, we appreciate you being here on R&R on Sports, and look forward to having you back. And
Yes,
we'll
sir.
be back for more R&R on Sports after this.
Peace.
Thank you.
Funky Politics. Hey, Funky Politics fan, it is DC. What a week, what a month, what a year. 2020, y'all. The information we give you here is always entertaining and it's always educational. And look, let me tell you something. We got more great shows coming your way.
That's the weirdest stuff I've ever seen in my life. I don't even understand how do you do that.
So make sure you stay tuned for more Funky Politics. Funky Politics, powered by the Kudzukian Network. That's right, folks. We're funky sometime. We funky your time. We funky all the time up in here. So make sure you stay tuned for more Funky Politics.
Check out all your Kudzukian favorites now. Download the Kudzukian app, available on Android and iOS.
Now it's time to say goodbye to all our family. M.I.C. See you real soon.
Boy, you just changed keys just like it wasn't nothing.
Why? Because I don't like your ass.
You went to a real weird. Don't try to sing. Don't try to sing. Yeah, they did you a big disservice not putting you into music at a young age.
Say goodbye.
And you want to be musical. You desire to be musical, but it just ain't in you. So anyway,
memories.
Man, hush. Jeremy, turn his mic off, please. Okay, so shout outs. Mine, without hesitation, goes out to Jacob Blake. Jacob Blake, you are a strong young brother, obviously with a stronger will to live and survive. And I pray for you, man, and say, keep on, come back to us. Anything that they say you can't do or won't be able to do, they ain't in no control. You can do anything, including walk, run, or do whatever you used to do, man. We're praying for you.
That's a beautiful thing. I'm gonna shout out two professional sports franchises: Milwaukee Brewers and the Milwaukee Bucks. Both of them said we ain't playing.
Yeah,
we ain't playing. And I want to give a shout out to them because I thought this should have happened back with the Los Angeles Clippers and Donald Sterling. And I think that Chris Paul and that team that was assembled there and Doc Rivers really let us down. But I say tonight and today, I respect Milwaukee Brewers. I respect Milwaukee Bucks and the fact that they said, look here, we got a problem.
Doc Rivers went to Marquette, about 40
went to
miles
Marquette,
away.
yeah.
About 40 miles away from Kenosha. And you saw him, right?
Yeah.
It is
My
his
heart
daddy
went out
was
to
his daddy was a cop.
Absolutely.
His daddy was a cop, and that kind of emotion, that's genuine, that's pure,
right?
And but I don't think it's going to be interesting to see what other
So your prediction is baseball teams your prediction is that we will not see any more NBA.
I think the
forward.
NBA is done. I think the bubble is done. I think the NBA is done. So that's my opinion.
I'm with you.
We see.
All right.
And we are with you every week, and we appreciate you being with us here on R&R on Sports. Y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Be back
hold on
with us.
now. Wait, now you're going too fast. Now listen, if you miss anything,
the producer said we got
and
to
you
go.
need to catch R&R episodes, download the Kudzukian app at the App Store or Google Play. All right? Hey, man. Listen,
all right,
till next week. Holla.
Later.